You are welcome back to my channel. I thank all my subscribers and my well-wishers, my customers, everybody. I thank you. May God continually bless you. I want to show us how to cut a 6-piece skirt without a pattern paper, and it will be a short draft. For the cutting, we will be needing the skirt length, the hip measurement, and the waist measurement. The skirt length I'm using is 44 inches. The hip measurement is 53, while the waist measurement is 43. Let's get to work quickly. At the tip here, I'm going to mark out the seam allowance. I'm using half-inch seam allowance. Then from the allowance, I'm taking 43 upward. And I'll be adding half-inch for the turning at the top and half-inch for the turning at the lower part. Then the first thing is to divide my hip by 6, because it's a 6-piece skirt. So I'm going to divide the hips by 6, and that will give me 88.8. I will round it off to 9 inches. I'm going to fold the 9 inches. For the center, I'll be folding it into 2, and when I fold that into 2, that's going to give me 4.5. But the extension for the 6 pieces, I want it to be 5 inches. So I'm going to take my 5 inches. I'm going to mark the 4.5 inches plus the half seam allowance I'm going to use to sew it. That means 5 inches. So I'll be folding out 10 inches. For the center, I'll be folding 10 inches this way. So after that, I will mark the above nail. Above nail for a tall person is around 19-20. So I'll be using 20 for this. You can use 19 and you can use 20. So I'll be using 20. The next thing is to draw out my hip line. The hip line, I'll be taking 8 for my hip line, 8 inches below the waistline. So after that, I'm going to now impute the measurement. I have 5 inches, so I'm going to mark 5 inches down. I'm going to mark my 5 inches down. So this is my 5 inches, 4.5 inches plus seam allowance of half inch seam allowance. Then after that, whatever is left, I'm now going to take it in form of a triangle down. I will slant the ruler and draw it down in form of a triangle to my 10 inches that I have here. So the 10 inches that I have here. That before I cut out, I will come at this tip. I will be coming in by half an inch. I will come back inside because the nail side is usually somehow taper. So then here I will come down at the hip line. I will come down by 3 inches. So I will join the line. And then I will join the line also. So I hope you can see. I will be cutting on the second line that is inward, not the first one. This is what I have for the front after cutting. I hope you can see. I'll be using to cut the back. So for the center piece, I will just lay my material, the front piece that I have cut. I will lay it, then I will give the zip allowance. The excess at this back here is the zip allowance. This is my material, then the zip allowance, and after laying it properly, I will use my pin to hold it, then I will cut it out. So this is the front and this is the back. So the back, I'm going to slit it into two. Down. So the back is in two pieces while the center front is in a piece. So to cut out the side now, I will be folding out 18 inches or 19, but I'm taking 18 and a half. 18 is okay, 19 is okay, but for this I'm taking 18 and a half. This is the taper tip, this is the widest tip. So I'm measuring from the widest tip and I'm folding 18 and a half. So after folding out, you can see, after folding out my 18 and a half from the widest hip. So the next thing now is for me to have placed my center back. I've aligned the center back. I take 5 inches away from the edge so that it will be able to accommodate the center front. So I've aligned the center front. Then from this line, from the tip of the center front, that where the center front will come in, that is where I will be taking the measurement from this tip, from this side. I'll be taking the measurements from there. I hope we can see. So this is my center front. This is my center front. So just on the cloth, I'll be taking my measurements from here. So from here, I'm going to take the hip line, and the hip line I'm using is 8 inches plus the seam allowance. I have 8.5 inches. So I'm going to draw out my hip line first. So after drawing out my hip line, then I'll take 9 inches. Then the seam allowance of about 1¾ inches is okay. So then for the waist is divided into 4, and the waist I'm using is 43 divided by 4. I have 15. For 3 divided by 4, I have 10.75. So out of the 10.75, I'm going to start from 4.5 inches here. So I'm going to measure my 9.75 at 10.75. 10.75, this is where my 10.75 is. Then I will add seam allowance of 1.5 inch, then that allowance of 1 inch. So I'll be cuffing from here down. So that will be my hip. Then the next thing now is to rule my nail line. So the nail line I took before was 20 plus seam allowance, that is 21. So my 21 will be here, plus seam allowance of ½ inch, that is 20 and half. So my 20 and half will be here. So I'm going to rule that out now. So at this point, I'm going to take the 9 inches. Whatever I'm having here at the hip, that's what I'm going to take down. Here at the hip, from this line, from the starting line, I have 10 inches. So I'm going to come down and mark my 10 inches as well. So I've imputed my 10 inches here. So then the next thing is I'll be the 10 inches now is plus the same allowance from this side. So I'll be coming in by 1 inch. You can come in by 1 or 1.5 inch. I'll be coming in by 1.5 inches. So after that, I'm going to come down here by 3 inches. I will join this line. This is the line I'm working with. So now the next thing now is to go to the edge of my skirts. So at the tip of my skirt here, I'm going to bring down the 10.5 or the 10 inches. So I need to fold this up for now. So this is the line. So here I'll be taking down the 10 inches that I'm coming with here. Then I will add 3 inches is okay. I can add up to 4 inches. So after that, and after having this, the next thing is for me to cut it out. So after cutting it out, this is what it should look like. This is what it should look like. I hope we can see it. So I'm going to cut 2 more of this, the other side. This is the front. I'm going to cut 2 for the back also, and so that is the simple way of cutting a simple pieces with free hands. Thank you.